Honorable Men Discord. Oprah Winfrey receives backlash for sharing a story about Whitney Houston. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to get straight to this video. Beside me, this is Oprah Winfrey in some sort of interview, if not on her own platform, sharing a story about Whitney Houston that was unfavorable. And for that reason, she received backlash. So let's get into that. And then I have two videos queued up with some reactions about this, those comments that were made about Whitney Houston. So let's get straight to it.
Such trust from the Oprah show audience that Whitney did, I think it was her last show with us, and she had gone back on drugs. The first interview I did with her when we'd gone behind stage and I asked her about her attention, she was clean. But the day she came to my show then to perform in front of the audience, she was not. And she fell off of the stage. And I knew that if that story got out that she'd fallen off of the stage, that she would be destroyed by that. And so even though the audience was there and the audience had cameras, I begged them not to put those pictures out because it would ruin her life, and they did not. I had such trust from the Oprah show audience.
All right, so before I get into the reactions from that video, let me just start by saying this. Oprah Winfrey at the time of this recording is 72 years old. And the reason why, for me, it's important to put that out there is that you have to wonder, when you reach a certain success level, why is it necessary to share stories that the world didn't know? Stories that were at some point in time a secret, because as she's saying, she asked the audience not to share it for the sake of Whitney Houston, but yet she's sharing it now. Why? With the success that Oprah Winfrey has amassed, why? Right? Oprah Winfrey does not need to share a story like this for clicks. Again, she's 72 years old. This is not about someone who is trying to go viral to build up an audience. She's already made it by all accounts. So why is someone doing something like that? Furthermore, I feel as though these type of things mainly happen within the Black and brown community. Now, does it happen in other communities? Possibly, but it seems like this is like it's commonplace within the Black and brown community, and for that I don't understand why. Why do you make it to a success level and still need to tarnish someone else's name? And whether or not she did it intentionally, why bring that up? There's so many other things Oprah could share, other stories she can share. At the age of 72, I'm sure she has tons of stories to share about her own personal life, positive stories. She doesn't need to share that story about Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston has been dragged through the media, sometimes on her own account, by the way she may have behaved in front of the camera while intoxicated, and other times by just the media. So, but why can't Whitney Houston just rest in peace? Why was there a need for that story to be shared? And for me, someone with the channel, as I'm sure most of you watching who probably also do content as well, what is the takeaway from something like this? It just shows that, for me, it shows that those at the mountaintop of success show signs of not being complacent, but not in a good way. You would think someone of Oprah Winfrey's stature, again, would have something else to share other than a story about Whitney Houston. Why? Some speculate that maybe there's a underlying jealousy that she may have had towards Whitney Houston. I can't call it. It's just speculation. But this doesn't make any sense at age 72. There's so many other things that someone of her age could share, like wisdom. Wisdom. Why not just stories of wisdom? She could make an entire series just based on life lessons she's learned in life. And whether or not it would be as successful as sharing a Whitney Houston mishap, it still has value that makes sense for a woman of her age. Now, if you think I'm wrong in saying that, let me know in the comments. But I think there's more value that an older person, not just for someone of her age that's a woman, but for men also. At some point in time, and I it's not for me to tell what age you should be sharing wisdom, but at some point in time, I just feel you have to understand that if you don't already know, life is not forever. So what you decide to put on camera should be something of value, unless you just don't care about sharing value. But that's a personal decision that every human being has to make. What are you putting out there of value? Are you putting anything out there of value, or are you just putting out mess just for the sake of content? And I don't want to believe someone of, again, Oprah Winfrey's stature that she shared this just for the sake of content. She's actually devaluing herself by doing so, in my humble opinion. But I have two other videos queued up here, just reactions to the fact that she shared this story. One from Turk, who used to be part of the Hot Boys, and then the last one is from Monique. All right, so let me get into these two videos and I'll speak about it further.
She said that, I say, damn, Oprah it must be her turn.
Yeah.
You know, and as a black person, every time something come out of somebody's mouth and they say things to take another black person down who's a legacy artist,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I feel like your turn have came where you have to do something in the public that's either humiliating or humiliating somebody else that got status. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what Oprah did, because if that happened on your show and you told the people on your show, don't put that footage out,
mm-hmm.
that means you cared enough about about Whitney Houston when she was alive.
Yeah.
Why wait till she died years later and bring that shit up? If you told other people don't put it out, what was the reason for you telling other people don't put it out then? Now, when she said that, I say, damn, Oprah.
I 100% agree. So you chose not to share the story yourself, and you also encouraged the audience not to share the story when Whitney Houston was alive. So what? It's fair game now because Whitney Houston has passed. Even more so, I would just take that with you to the grave. You know, show respect to those that are no longer here. That's how I see it. Show respect for those that are no longer here. And again, if you're going to share a story about someone that's no longer here, let it be one that is of high regard and respectful, rather than something that's going to just add to, the mess that's already out there. Don't bring anyone down with the stories that you share, especially when they're not around to defend themselves. So here's Monique at a radio station sharing her thoughts on what Oprah Winfrey had to say.
Recently talked about Whitney Houston in an interview. Oh, that's why you said, okay, well, there's that. She said that Whitney, kind of passed out and might have alluded to maybe. Didn't Oprah fall on stage?
Wellness to me means all things in balance. And balance doesn't mean all things are equal or at peace at all times. Wrong shoes.
I don't know, I ain't seen it.
And we didn't see how she tripped, nothing. She just went down. We saw that. We saw her. She was walking and bam. And everybody was like, well, she said the shoes. Okay. Well, what was wrong? So, and as we're laughing about it and making light of it, just for me, how do you speak about someone that can't defend it? That, just in my humble opinion, it takes it different. Because that woman can't say yes or no. And now you just want everybody to take your word because you're the great Oprah Winfrey. And you just take my word that that's what happened. That I believe is unfair. I believe that's unfair. And I still love my sister, Oprah Winfrey. Let me be clear about that. Good. People think in correction it means you don't love. It's simply just correction. And I remember Gary Owens said one time, Gary Owens, the white comedian, he said one time, how can Monique say that she love him and then she say this? Because that's called blackness. We know how we do it in our community.
Oprah actually recently talked about.
So one other thing I want to say, and I didn't post the video intentionally because I wasn't sure whether or not it would get flagged. I came across while I was putting this together, TMZ had a video posted where they were interviewing, I believe it was someone who was either an old bodyguard of Whitney Houston or someone who was part of security. I don't remember which one, but that individual was there the moment Whitney Houston fell down, and he had a different account of the entire story that Oprah Winfrey shared. Oprah Winfrey shared basically that Whitney Houston fell down due to her being inebriated. But the gentleman shared the story of the fact that Whitney Houston fell down because she wasn't aware of how the stairs, that particular stage was, and I guess she was walking down the stairs where it wasn't heavily lit. There was no lights in that area, and she tripped up, fell down, and he said that she made light of it. She laughed it off. But he's saying that he doesn't believe that she fell down because she was inebriated. He said she fell down because she just wasn't used to that particular stage setup or what have you. So which story is true? And if what he's saying is true, and that is the same day that Oprah spoke of, you got to wonder, why is Oprah skewing the story? Again, I don't want to believe Oprah Winfrey at 72 is sharing a story about Whitney Houston just for views. Because she's already successful. She's 72. She has her own network, I believe. She still has the network. I don't follow Oprah Winfrey, so I don't know if the network is still up and running. But the last time I remember Oprah Winfrey had a network, she also had her own print magazine. And I don't even know if that's still going, because I don't know if print is still relevant in today's day and time with social media. I know there's magazines out there, but I really don't know what magazines are still thriving and moving successfully. But in any event, which story is the truth? The gentleman from TMZ, and you can look that up if you're interested. Look up the TMZ interview with I believe the bodyguard or security that said he was there the day Whitney Houston fell. Unless Whitney Houston fell more than once. That's another thing. I don't know. Did she fall more than once? How many times did Whitney Houston appear on Oprah? So if she only appeared one time, maybe it's the same story. But he's saying it's not because Whitney Houston was high. He's saying it's because the way she walked off the stairs, the way she stepped onto the stairs and didn't, realize, how the stairs were set up. But again, I think when you reach a certain level, even before you reach a certain level, you should maintain a certain level of class, dignity, morals, in the way you conduct yourself and what you present to the world. Everything doesn't need to be trash to be successful. I know we live in a day and age where what's trending is the worst of images of one another, and that's what goes viral. But the moment you start holding yourself to a high standard, that seems to be the boring material to some. But we need to change that. Something needs to change, and I expect more from those that came before me, that paved the way, that have become super successful. I expect more. So I don't agree with sharing stories like this. That's my thoughts, my personal take on it. I don't agree with Oprah sharing a story like that. Again, there's other things that she can share of value. But that's my take on this. What's your take on all of this? Let me know in the comment section. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you that tune in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Hit that subscribe button on your way out if you haven't already. And as always, stay honorable.